Kia ora. So I just wanted to do a kōrero around the next part of the process that I've just done. I feel like there was a lot to go on. So I've sort of explained a little bit in brief notes about each step. So there was the step of putting the stencil onto the leather bag, and then the sort of the front part of the bag, which was to be engraved, and then how I used clips. Yeah, that was the reason I did that, because the leather had it was folded another way, so I needed to fold it back to hold it down. So it was quite tough, so I needed some sort of pressure just to hold it in place, because there was going to be the top part and the bottom part, so where the bag kind of opens, there was going to be a design that connects, so I needed it to be, yeah. So there was a few things that kind of happened in this process. So yeah, I did the stencil, and then I engraved the top. So this was really fun. I wanted to talk a little bit about this actually. So there's different tools. There's a lot of different tools. I'll include some photos of the tools that I did use, that you can use to create different shapes into the leather, which is really cool. So there's small ones, big ones. There's actually just like really whatever you want. There's already made designs. There's flowers. There's lettering. There's all the tools that my dad has. There's ones that don't make any sort of, like, they imprint but they don't make a sort of stamp. So yeah, there was a wide range, big ones, small ones. So I decided to go with this particular tool that was kind of a square, and it just kind of left a nice little groove. So nothing too dramatic. I don't want it to be anything too fancy, and yeah, nothing, and just like a little bit of texture. So I had to wet the leather as I went. The reason you want to do that is because if it's dry, it's kind of impossible to indent. So what you're basically doing is indenting the leather. Yeah, I'll use the word like pushing it down. So you're pushing it down, engraving it, kind of stamping it, would be another word. So yeah, you need to wet it in order for the pattern to go, so it's soft enough to be indented. So you get the tool, and then you get the hammer, and you kind of like, I should have taken a video of this actually, but yeah, you kind of place the tool where you want it to mark, and then give it a tap on top. So it's kind of like, it was a red, and this is why I wanted to make the video, because it was kind of a mixture of like tattooing, like what I imagine like traditional tattooing, and then also kind of like carving, because I was imprinting, and yeah, and then sort of that tapping sound and chiseling away kind of feeling. So it was really cool. So yeah, Dad showed me a little bit in how you can do it a certain way and it can leave lines, but you can also, if you're really good at it, you can do it without leaving these little lines. Unfortunately, yeah, because I didn't have a lot of spare leather to practice on, I just kind of had to do it how I was going to do it, and yeah. So I mean, I was happy with how it came out. It took a long time. That was one thing with it. I did need a lot of patience to complete it. So I did the top part, and then yeah, going around the curves, the kuru curves, was a little bit difficult too, having to find a smaller tool to get around the curve without like making the stamp here, without it going onto the space that I wanted to leave positive or like raised. So yeah, there were some difficulties with that. But I actually really enjoyed the engraving. It was really, really satisfying, and you could kind of chip away at it, and if you hadn't gone deep enough, you could kind of chisel it around. So in that sense, I kind of feel like it was kind of like I was carving, which I imagine was more traditional kind of tamako style as well. And yeah, you could sort of shape it. There was kind of a shaping sensation that I really enjoyed, actually. More over the sort of tattooing, which felt you know, in comparison, it actually kind of looks a little bit flat. So that's, yeah, interesting observation that I've already made with the two. Yeah, it came out really well, actually. I was really happy with how it came out. Yeah, I kind of, yeah, went back to it and touched it up a bit too. With a bit of my, yeah, my dad's guidance, and yeah, so that was cool. Then I basically just decided to go back another day, and I wanted to actually put it together. So I just did a mock-up essentially of how it was going to look, because I was concerned about the top flap pattern, the pattern that was on the top flap that was meant to meet the bottom pattern on the other panel, that it wasn't going to match up. So I didn't want to stencil, like engrave it, and then it was actually way off. So I put it all together just kind of mockingly, and then just marked out a bit more, because the bag was going to, the shape, the leather wasn't going to be flat, it was actually going to bend outwards, so it was going to be more of a circular shape. So once I put it together, I could figure out where it was meant to sit. Yeah, which was, I'm glad I did that. It gave me more sense of like, oh, this is really cool. I could see, even though it took a bit of time, it took most of the day, I could see, yeah, how it was all going to work. And I think that's the other thing with this project. It is taking time because it's so unforgiving. There's not like a lot of, I can't really make a lot of mistakes, and just having to sort of accept the mistakes that I do make as part of what's meant to be, and just part of learning, I guess. The mistakes being like, maybe I've cut it too far, or I've engraved over the edge, or kind of hit the wrong spot, or it doesn't look as perfect, or maybe it's not going to quite match up. So yeah, still a few more steps to go from here, but I'm really enjoyed that I put it together and I was able to do the engraving part, because I really liked it, actually. Yeah, that was really cool.